Hey guys, welcome back to the It's Really Not That Deep podcast. In honor of this podcast growing to 1,000 subscribers, which is a very big deal for me, I wanted to just reintroduce myself. My name is Joelle. I am a Master's of Psychology student in Toronto, and I have a huge passion for being better, for understanding how to live better, live happier, live longer, and teach it in ways that feel digestible because I've learned so much through so much reading and listening and TikToks. And I really feel like the self help and self development world has changed my life. So, my goal from this podcast is not only to learn more about those things for myself, but also share it. I love teaching. I think teaching is the easiest way to learn. Because you have to make it make sense to you for it to make sense to other people. And so, if you're here and you're listening and you're watching these reels and these podcasts, I appreciate you. And you should appreciate you too, because this is self help. You are helping yourself by listening to things that are motivating and positive and learning about your brain and your body and yourself. So, I just wanted to start with that. As we know, I really like to practice gratitude, and I'm really grateful that I had the courage to start this and continue this and have the time and opportunity to learn and be on this journey. So, if you're on it with me, I really love you. So, on my journey of becoming the version of me that I am now, there was this one thing that really stuck with me throughout the years, and it was to be 1% better each day, each week, each year, whatever. And this idea of the 1% rule has really made things feel digestible to me. And like, if I can just do this one thing, I'm already making myself better, and it's not that hard. So, I'm just going to keep doing that and compound until I get better and better and better, like investing in myself. And when I say rewiring your brain, which I do say a lot, this is what I mean, like very slowly chipping away at the beliefs that you have in the person that you are to build the version of you that you want. By becoming 1% better each day, these things don't happen overnight. No, no, no. No one's saying that. No one's promising that. Anyone who promises you that is lying. It takes a really long time, and you have to commit to the process of becoming the best version of yourself. And that takes a whole lot of discipline and self love. And the best and easiest way to do that is one small step at a time. And every time you take that step and take aligned action, you're proving to yourself, I'm becoming the person I want to be. Look at me, I'm so much better than I was yesterday. And what's the point of life if not that? So, part of the problem here is that we overestimate what we can do in a week and underestimate what we can do in a year. So, for example, the idea of the 5 a.m. wake up. Like, if you're going to start waking up at 5 a.m. tomorrow and that's just so out of your routine, even if you stick to that for like 3 days, you're going to burn out because that's not the lifestyle that you currently sustain. You can't just snap your fingers, decide to change, and then all of a sudden be at that 100% version. Come on. 1% better each day. Wake up a little bit earlier. Take it a half an hour each day, each week. Plan what your morning's going to look like. If you get tired, then what? And chasing the 100% over 1% is what leads to burnout and what makes you fail. I think that you can have everything you want, but nothing in this life comes easy. You have to take steps to get there. It's literally all about the journey. It's all about the journey to becoming. Because once you become, then what? You have to keep becoming. You have to enjoy the process. And then these small changes then become sustainable because they're doable. You're not changing your whole life and then like, oh, I hate my life. You're just making small changes to a life that you love to get where you want to be. And this is the compound effect of small wins, and it's real and it's awesome, and we all need to be utilizing it. I'll probably come back to this line a lot, but I really feel like your internal world creates your external world. So it all starts in the mind and the brain. So, in today's episode, we're going to get into how the brain responds to small wins and the simple steps to start applying this rule today and making our lives better. So, first, let's talk about the logic behind small wins and why they matter so much. Small actions feel so much more manageable. So, when you set a realistic goal, you're so much more likely to complete it than when you set a crazy, massive, unrealistic goal. So, we're going to talk about the dopamine reward loop. Our brains love dopamine, and completing a task gives us dopamine, a dopamine boost. And our brain is engineered to reward progress, not perfection. Our brain doesn't care if we reached 100% or we reached 1%. A win is a win. And getting that first hit of dopamine, that first little win, makes you want to do it again. It makes you want to keep going because that dopamine is addictive. Addicting? Addictive? I don't know. So you're literally training your brain to seek out the new habit. For example, I always bring it back to working out, but I love working out. And I really wanted to work on the number of push-ups I can do. So once I set that goal, it's like, oh my God, look at this challenge I set for myself. And then once I start, I just want to keep going because I just want to achieve that thing. And I'm not going to push myself to a point where I get hurt. But like each day that I show up, I'm already getting better because practice makes progress. And so just by trying, I'm getting better. Because the alternative is sit there and do nothing and get nowhere. It's the same when like I need to write a paper and I just like can't do it. But then I just sit down and I do it and I get into kind of like a flow state because, oh my God, like Joelle, you did one sentence, just keep going. To put this into statistics, 1% better every day for a year is 37 times better. So that means if you decide today that for 1 year you are going to get 1% better every day, just do better than you did yesterday or 2 days ago or when you felt like shit. A year from now, you just might be 37 times better. What is you 37 times better? Think about it because, again, once you can visualize it, you can become it. But that's a topic for another time. So, an example of this in my life was posting on TikTok. That was a huge hurdle for me to overcome to do that. And then I went to Asia for a month and I stopped. And so to pick it back up and like become consistent again, it was really difficult. But I had an end goal. I wanted to build a personal brand. I wanted to put my content out there. I enjoy making content. I find it fun to like do my makeup and get on camera. And I have these like downloads and brain dumps that I just like to share because people seem to resonate with vulnerability. So that's me 8 months after starting. Me at the beginning of starting was horrified. I was I had so many limiting beliefs. I felt so embarrassed. I felt like everyone was judging me. And I was doing the podcast with Haley at the time, so she really helped me get through this, and I think I her. And we were just like, "Haley, like, forget about him. Forget about him. Like, we're doing this for us. We're learning, we're growing. Even if nothing comes of this, we've already had such a great experience. And if that's all that it is, so be it." But at first, it felt so pointless to keep posting and getting like 300 views, and it was annoying. But now it's snowballing because it's built consistency, not intensity. I've just become consistent with the posting and doing the podcast and showing up each week. And it's become so much more enjoyable for me. And a big theme in my life right now is connecting back to my whys. When I started school, they said to us on the first day, find a why, and when it gets hard, connect to your why. And that's so real because life is hard. Life is really hard no matter what card, no matter what hand you get dealt. And some people have it harder than others, but you got to make the best of your situations. And just committing to being better yourself each day is the easiest way to do it. Okay, I'm actually loving this episode. I feel like this is jam-packed with information because we haven't even gotten into the psychology. So the science behind it, again, I always talk about neuroplasticity because you can rewire your brain and repetition leads to rewiring. So you may have heard neurons that fire together wire together. So the more you do something, the more the neural pathway strengthens in your brain and the easier it kind of becomes because you're just so used to it. It's your brain makeup now. And yeah, you can adjust that, you can change it, you can choose the thoughts that you think, really. I haven't mastered that. I don't think anyone ever does, but you could. And so the more you fire the pathway, the stronger it becomes. And the 1% rule is literally about building new mental freeways on what used to be a dirt road. You're like unwinding the maze. You're figuring it out as you go by trying to be better each day and rewiring your brain and regulating your nervous system. Again, an episode, a whole nother episode, but nervous system regulation is game changing. So I did break this down in another episode, but it fits really well with this one. So I'm going to do it again. And it's the habit loop. But how the habit works is there's a cue, there's a routine, and there's a reward. So the cue can be anything. It can be the reminder on your desk to work out. It can be the thought that pops into your head that, oh, I should start this paper. The routine is actually acting out the thing. And then the reward is what comes after, whether you actually have a reward system where, like, once you finish an assignment, you can have candy, or if it's just the good feeling of the dopamine release once you finish a task. But by doing it the 1% way and just trying to be 1% better each day, it makes the routine so small that the cue is literally impossible to ignore, and it's almost embarrassing if you do. So, an example of this, if your cue is waking up, the routine shouldn't automatically be, okay, I'm going to go run for 45 minutes. Should be, I'm going to put on my running shoes and get out there. And that's already a win because I wouldn't have done that yesterday. So, that's me being 1% better. If I can work up to a 3 mile run, awesome. If it's not my thing, at least I tried. The next thing we're going to talk about is identity based habits. And this is where it really gets deep. This has to do with connecting back to our why, because in doing this, we are building a new identity. Every small action you take is a vote to the person you want to become. Like you're literally getting one step closer every time you decide to do better and do the hard thing. And you go beyond just what you want. You're not saying, I want to be fit. You're saying, I'm the type of person who doesn't miss my workouts. If that's 10 sit-ups and that's all I have in me today, that's fine. But I'm still going to show up for myself. If it's just stretching instead of working out, I'm still going to move my body because I know that that helps me. And again, I do talk a lot about working out because that is one of the things that works for me. I'm not saying that you have to work out to be the best version of yourself. Yeah, connecting back to your why. You want to be this person? Show me. Show me. Show the universe you want to be this person. Prove it. Because until you prove it, you're not going to be it, you know? You gotta fake it till you make it a little bit on this one. But by faking it, you're making it. So, like, now that we understand everything behind the 1% rule and why it will literally change your life for the better, let's talk about how to apply it. So, I put together some steps just to break it down. I love steps. Write this down. Just write it down and try to come back to it. I don't have a statistic for this, but in my personal life, I can tell you when I actually go and write something down, I am way more likely to execute. Whether that's a to do list, whether that's a journal prompt to reflect on, whatever it is. So if you really do want to change, show me. So step one, we're going to pick an area. So this is going to be our focus. We're not going to change every aspect of our life right now. We're going to pick one. I have like 3 pillars of existence, and it's body, mind, and spirit. So those are always the things that I'm trying to improve on. So for my body, it is often just move your body, do some sort of thing that expends energy and makes you sweat and gets the stress out, is a stress reliever. It could be going for a walk. It could be playing a sport you really like. It could be stretching, trying to be more flexible. The next pillar is mind. For this one, I really like to do meditation and reading. That's my working on my mind avenue. And meditation always looks different for me. I don't have such a strict definition of meditation. Like, I think me sitting here doing this is a form of mind meditation, mindfulness. Putting music on and just like really enjoying the music, that's meditation. Anything where I just feel calm in my mind is me practicing meditation and mindfulness. So anything that brings you that mental clarity is you working on your mind, making space and time for that. And then spirit. Spirit's a tough one. I like to just think of it as overall growth. So just experiencing things, rewiring limiting beliefs, spending time with people that I love, like just nurturing my soul. I guess it can be anything. That can be being in nature, doing my hobbies, thrifting, doing my makeup. Like, it's the small things in life that really make it worth living. Okay, well, that's just step number one. Step number two is to anchor these habits and implement them. So, we're going to come up with some routines that are going to act as the cue, and then we're going to figure out what we're going to do. And then we're going to also have a reward system because it's fun. So, for example, I'm a huge coffee drinker, but apply this to anything in your life. When I wake up, I like to make my coffee first thing. As I'm making my coffee, I'm going to reflect on how I'm feeling that morning while it's brewing. And the reward is the coffee. So I'm working on my mind, I'm working on my spirit just as part of my routine. Like, I'm just gonna literally schedule it into my routine. You could do this after brushing your teeth, before going to bed. Just fit it into where you think it could actually work in your life and think about what it would look like. Again, visualize yourself actually doing it. If you can visualize it, you are so much more likely to do it. Imagery is so powerful and so important. And step three, this is for the real ones who are really trying to get on their shit. We're going to track the progress visually. And this will keep us motivated because discipline is really important, but at the start, motivation is too. So we're going to feed the dopamine loop. We're going to find a simple way to mark our wins so we can make a chart and put X's or checks whenever we complete a day of doing it. And again, this reinforces the dopamine loop and it proves to yourself that you're a consistent person. If you can check off these boxes, you're going to want to keep checking off these boxes. You're going to be like, oh my God, look at me. Look what I'm doing. I'm so proud of myself. I'm stayed consistent when all the other times in the past I've given up. That's something to be proud of. And if you fall off, just get back on. Don't beat yourself up. Alexis Fernandez, she has a podcast. She's amazing. She said this once and it always stuck with me. Don't stay off for 2 days. If you mess up one day and you don't work out, just make sure you get back on the next day. Again, even if it's just like 5 minutes, 2 minutes, just make sure you do something to keep the loop going. So remember, the goal is never perfection. It is never perfection. If you strive for perfect, you're going to fall short. The goal is to break the chain and to be 1% better every day. Just in case you forgot. So I hope by now you're visualizing the person that you could be in a year from now that is 37 times better than the version of you sitting in front of me. But do remember that the 1% rule is a slow burn. It takes consistency, it takes effort, it takes time for you to get better. And if you think doing these things are going to make you hotter, happier, healthier tomorrow, you're going to be disappointed. Adjust your expectations. But what I can tell you is if you do commit to yourself and you do commit to this 1% every day, you will be better. Whether it's 3 times better or 37 times better, you will be better. To close this off, your small actions are those votes and those investments in your future self. What is one 1% change that you're starting this week to make your life better? Comment down below and we'll be checking up in a couple months. So I hope you can come back and then say, oh my God, like I can't even believe I was that way a year ago. Look how far I've come. Again, I love doing this podcast. If you made it to the end, you're so fucking real and love you guys.